Dude, how do you feel about rivals to lovers?
You know I eat that shit up.
Dude,
I just
freaking
delicious.
3-course meal, bitch. Yeah, dude.
Uh-huh.
I think it can either be done really well or really badly.
I agree.
So,
Because sometimes I feel like the actual rivalry isn't deep enough for me. Like it's so shallow.
Because some rivalries, like, stop it, bitch. I like you, I think. And it's like, no, I want these to be cutthroat. I want them to be like, bitch, you know what? You're kind of cute, but fuck you.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
That's what I want.
Is that too much to ask for?
No. But would you say that rivals to lovers is different from enemies to lovers, or is that like the same? Is that the same boat?
No, it's not. Because enemies to lovers, like, you killed my dad, I'll never forgive you. Rivals to lovers is, I want that pay raise. Fuck you. You know what I mean? It's like one of them, you killed my dad. The other one, like, you're not going to kill my dad, but it kind of feels like you did.
Yeah.
You know, so
that's
like,
how deep it is. That's how deep the hate is. Yeah.
That's how deep the hate is. But then, you know what's better? When it's rivals to lovers, but even during the rivalry, it's like, well, I still don't want you to, like, go through shit.
Yeah, like, I still kind of care about you a little bit. Not too much, though.
Maybe you're a rival, but, like, are you doing okay, though? Like,
did you eat yet? Like, are you good?
Maybe you're a rival, but I am going to visit you at home, and you're kind of cute, I think. But don't even fucking think about taking my pay raise.
Exactly.
That's the type of shit I want. Not in my own life. I would fucking scream.
I would lose my shit, too, honestly.
If I had someone who rivaled with me at work, and it came to a pay raise, I'd throw that bitch under the bus. You know what? He was slacking off.
And I have the proof. You just pull out all these folders.
Who's taking these pictures? I don't know.
It's like from the ceiling.
It's like a selfie. It's me.
Okay.
I don't think I could deal with this in real life, but something about rivals to lovers and, like, true love type shit. Like, can't separate.
Like cute love.
That shit got me fucked up, dude.
Like romance times 10.
Dude, you're already gonna fucking make me cry. I think if you are a fan of rivals to lovers, then we have a good fix for you.
And magic.
And magic. Oh my god, I forgot that. But are you ready for me to fix your life?
I'm ready.
Welcome to Book Fix Podcast, a podcast where we fix lives one book at a time. I'm your host, Chelly.
And I'm your host, Yahaira.
And booktok brought us here.
We are here because of booktok. I had heard about this book so many fucking times, but I had no indication of what actually happened in this book.
I've seen the cover, and I will be honest with you.
I love the cover.
I do too, but this isn't a book that I'd be like, TBR has to be on the top of my list.
Yeah.
It would be a book I pick up because I like the title, and it would sit on my TBR until she was ready.
So we're talking about Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. And this is one of those books where it takes place, or it kind of gives like a World War I feel to it.
But with
magic.
But with magic, because just to start off with kind of like an introduction before the actual story, there is a war between gods going on. And it's between the god of below and the goddess of above. So the goddess of above, which is a Skylander goddess, her name is Enva.
Shout out Enva.
2 million years young, bitch.
2 million, and she loves to play music.
And she's over here just chilling, playing music. But then there's another god by the name of Dacre.
I call him Dacre, but I could be wrong. Dacre.
You know what? Dacre sounds better than Dacre.
Zachary?
Basically Zachary. Fucking surfer bitch. Never mind, it's Dacre, So, fucking
I just like
Dacre.
to call him Zach,
So, fucking Dacre, just chilling and shit.
Stop it.
He's over here like, bruh. Like, this babe in the sky's kind of chill. I want her to chill with me. But, like, she doesn't come out because she's over here fucking strumming. What's the one song? Anyone want to hear Wonderwall? She's over here playing Wonderwall and shit. And he's like, the only way I can get her down is to kill people because this bitch play music when people dead. So he starts killing people with hounds left and right.
He's just fucking shit up for everybody.
And so then
inevitably she has to come down.
Enva comes down and is like, what are you doing? And Daker comes and he's like, you notice that?
Hey, girl.
Hey, what, no hug?
Because he's daiquiri?
Yeah. What, no hug? No hug for the D-man? Okay, I get it.
And he is the god of healing.
Yes.
Which is a big fucking deal when, you know, people are at war.
And the fact that he's killing and does not heal the people he's killed just to get the recognition of a potential love interest, she's like angry. She's like, why the hell would I stay with you when you are hurting people?
Yeah.
And she leaves and he's like, no. Daiquiri does not take no for an answer. The D-man, no. So he continues to kill, and it gets too much for her that Enva's just like, you know what? I will live with you, but you have to stop killing, and you have to let me play Wonderwall whenever the fuck I want.
That wasn't one of the conditions, but okay.
No, well, it was you have to let me play my music when I want, and you cannot kill anymore. And he was like, chill, babe.
That's exactly what I wanted. Okay.
Wait, babe, are we together?
Wait, do I need to get a ring?
We change our Facebook status, babe? So that is the story of the gods and the goddesses. And this is a known story in the town of Oath that is... It's like a town that is nearby the war, but very unaffected by the war.
Yeah, it's like outside. Yes. It's like in the skirts of it, pretty much.
So we are introduced to our two characters by the names of Iris and Roman.
Yeah, but the prologue, I feel like the prologue is pretty important. So in the prologue of this book, Iris is basically saying goodbye to her brother Forrest because Forrest heard the song. He heard the call. He was like, I gotta go.
What's the song?
Enva Wonderwall?
No, like explain it. What do you mean by hearing the song?
So basically in this... I was like, is this a trick question? So basically in this war, the gods...
Sorry, it's fucking Ozzy Osbourne. All aboard!
Oh my god, that would be pretty sick, actually.
Okay,
I would jump in too.
Yes, of course.
So the gods rely on the humans for this war. So if you hear the song... it basically indicates like, oh, you have to go then. You have to go and serve the goddess to partake in this war, pretty much. And so Forrest is telling Iris, okay, I gotta go. And I think Forrest is 5 years older than her.
Yes.
And he's like, I heard the song, I gotta go. And Iris just feels so angry. She feels betrayed. She's heartbroken because really, like, she really relied on her brother for support. And she's just like, are you really gonna leave me for some goddess? Like, really? And he's like, I have to do it. I'm sorry. But remember, you made me 2 promises. Tell me what the promises were. And she's like, stay in school and take care of mom. And he's just like, exactly.
Here's my trench coat. Take care of it. It's my favorite one.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go fight for Enva. BRB.
And so he leaves, and then she puts her hands in the pockets, and she finds like a letter that he wrote her, pretty much. Oh, and then he did ask her to write him letters while he was away.
Do you remember what the letter said?
It said something like, thanks for being a great sister, and I'll see you soon, or something like that.
And it was weird because it had like the tabs to Wonderwall.
Oh my god.
You know what I thought was kind of cool? The fact that music was kind of outlawed.
Yeah, I thought that was cool too. It's something different.
Yeah, what would I do if I have the beat in me?
It's like Happy Feet.
I know. So welcome to another retelling of Happy Feet.
So the letter says, just in case you didn't know, you are by far the best sister I've ever had. I'm so proud of you, and I'll be home before you know it, little flower, because he called her little flower.
Dude, it fucks me up because like by the beginning of the book, just by that prologue, I was like, you know what? If shit happens to Iris, I'm gonna fucking hate this book.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought, but I was like, they can't hurt her. She's gonna do fine. Well, her mom became an alcoholic.
Yeah, because of her brother's departure. Like, she really took it hard.
Yep.
And so she basically had to be her caretaker. And it sucks because she would arrive late to work at the Oath Gazette.
Yeah.
Because she was a journalist. And everyone would be like, why are you late again? And she couldn't explain that she ran late because she was trying to take care of her mother, you know?
Mm-hmm. And it really sucked because, like, she's over here competing for lead columnist. Mm-hmm. Because if you have that, you're making good-ass money. You're always, basically always going to be front page material. Mm-hmm. And she's really good at her writing. But the person she's competing against, whose name is Roman C. Kitt, mm-hmm. he is also a good journalist, but he's also rich.
Yeah, he's rich. So he has a lot more privilege.
Mm-hmm. And it sucks because seeing them interact, it's funny because she does bring up that he's handsome, but it's like, but man, I hate this bitch.
He's like, yeah, he's cute, but would I punch him? Yeah, I would.
Of course I would. No doubt about it.
If it gets too close to me, I'm swinging.
And it's funny because the first interaction they ever have is her running late into the office, and he runs in and pulls off the, basically the article that their boss Zeb wanted written, and he pulls it off, and he's like, "Oh, did you want this? Did you?" She's like, "No, I'm good."
Because basically there's like a bulletin board, and the boss puts in what he wants written, and it's basically first come, first serve. So if you take it off, then that story is yours. Mm-hmm.
So it sucks. It just feels like her life is shitty because she even like, at one point, I think it's near the beginning, so I'm going to say this now. At one point, she's going to leave, and she goes up to Roman, or she calls him Kit. They call each other by their last names.
Mm-hmm. So she's Winnow. Yeah. Iris Winnow.
So she goes up to Kit and is like, so you want a sandwich or whatever? Like, you want to go get a fucking sandwich? There's a sandwich place over there. Best pickles. And he's just like, I'm busy. I can't get distracted by sandwiches. And then she's like, fine, bitch. I'll go by myself. And she goes over here, and it's funny because she's so... I say funny, but I mean more relatable. Mm-hmm. Going to the store, wanting to buy yourself a fucking sandwich, but it's over here like, I have a boiled egg. And that's kind of it.
Yeah, because she's struggling pretty much.
Mm-hmm. I get it. So she basically goes home with her boiled eggs, and I think it's just plain bread. And her mom is just a wreck.
Yeah. I felt so bad for her, like having to take care of her mom. Like her mom was so... I don't know, like, I felt like the mom was just gone. Ever since Forrest left, she just didn't consider what Iris was going through.
It's kind of hard because these people who are alcoholics are so deep into this and it's like very obvious that who they are is just kind of who they are. Mm-hmm. Like, it's hard to get them out of this. Mm-hmm. They make promises to you, but that they're never going to keep. And that was the mom.
And she knew it, too. She was like, she's making all these promises, but it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. And so Iris is pretty much, like, desperate to get into communication with her brother.
Yes.
And she starts writing these letters to him. Okay. But she puts them in a wardrobe.
Yes.
And they disappear.
That's what I wanted to talk about. I don't want to talk about this story, like, section by section.
Yeah, I don't either.
But I do want to talk about this concept of the typewriters. So how did you feel with this whole magic typewriter thing?
So just to give it a little bit of an explanation in case you haven't read this book, which you definitely should because we're going to spoil the fuck out of it. So Iris has a typewriter that was passed down by her grandmother, and this typewriter has like this magic to it that she doesn't realize until like near the end. And so I think it's multiple typewriters, no?
There's three,
yes. And so Roman has one of the three, and Iris has another one of the three. And so when she writes this letter, puts it in the wardrobe, he gets access to this letter, and basically he can respond, and it disappears. She gets it. That's how it goes. Yeah. I felt like this was so unique. Like, this was such a unique magic, like, concept to me. Like, I was like, wow, I've never read anything like this before. Yep. To me, it was like, I don't know, like, I was just like in awe of this.
And I will say, when it was revealed that the letter that she was writing was going to Roman Kit, at first I was like, what are the fucking odds? I hate that it's just randomly going to your rival. But I really liked that it came with the story of, like, yeah, Olette, who got this typewriter made for two of her besties, which was Kit's grandma and Iris's grandma. They all got it because they were all best friends. But what they all had in common was none of them cared what their social standing in life was. Yeah. Like, their money that they had in the world didn't matter. Their friendship mattered. Yeah. And I think it was a nice parallel to both Kit and Iris, because it's like they both like each other. And it's so obvious, but they don't know it yet. But as the story develops, they become that. Like, I don't care your social standing. I care about you. Yeah. So I thought that was really, like, when it explained why they had the typewriters, I was like, that's so sweet. That is so sweet.
And I love that they were both just really good writers. And they both come from completely, like, opposite backgrounds, but they were able to communicate in this writing. And I will praise Rebecca Ross. Yeah. She has such good writing. Like, I loved it so much. And I love how, like, maybe it's a little bit, like, florally for some people, maybe.
Like embellished.
Yeah, maybe, but I really appreciated it because they're both writers. So I did kind of expect, like, pretty writing, especially when they were writing to each other.
I agree with you. I had no issues with the writing. I actually thought this was a very... It's hard for me to get into books, mostly when we're reading for this podcast, because we finish a book and I'm still stuck in that book. So when we have to move on, I'm like... well, how am I supposed to? I'm thinking about Kimberly Lemming. Like, you know, it's hard sometimes.
How am I supposed to move on? Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought this book, like, had me, like, right at the beginning.
Yeah. And me too. But I will say, I'm going to be honest.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to be honest. For a second there, I was into the story. Don't get me wrong. But then I was thinking, like, wow, isn't it kind of crazy that this story is taking place, like, outside of the gods? Like, it's not about the gods. I mean, it is, but it's not. Like, that's just kind of, like, in the background, but it's still really interesting.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, why am I following these two bitches when I could be following magical and Daiquiri?
With the magical typewriter, yeah.
Like, I get it, that's sick, but, like...
but no, like, the story, like, hooked me right away. I was into it. And then I love how... I just...
Bitch, wait, because I told you I'm gonna cry in this book, so whatever you say might trigger it. You know, I've never felt...
Dude, that shot got me. I'm scared to take another one.
Dude, I just want to say, I told you I read this before. We've read some pretty sad books on this podcast.
Yeah, we have.
This is the one that I think will make me cry.
Really?
I feel very strongly about certain moments in this book.
Okay.
So just whatever you say, if I cry, it just happens. Just let the tears flow. Play Wonderwall while I cry.
Okay. In the background.
I know.
It's just like, okay, you know what? I just wanted to say that I really love Iris's character and Roman's character. I love that they both really, like, provide something substantial to each other's lives. Yep. And I love that she didn't even realize it for a while that he was, like, falling in love with her. It's like one of those where, you know how there's that trope, like, that he falls first or falls harder or whatever. This one is, like, a really good example of that trope because he, like, fell for her.
And it's written so well because one thing that she's scared of is being pitied. And it's because, you know, she does come from a life where if you were to look at it from an outside standpoint, you would feel bad for her. We feel bad for her as readers. Yeah. But never once did he pity her. Because never once did he think she's not a competition. She's not all of this. Yeah. And the first time they have sandwiches, I think it's really sweet because they're sitting there awkwardly. And he's just like, you know what? I owe you an apology for the first time we met. And I said you weren't going to be competition. I was wrong. Yeah. And it's funny because in her mind, she's like, what the fuck is happening?
And I also love that he was looking into her writing. Like, he would read it. And it wasn't like in a competitive way. It was more so like he's curious. Like, okay, well, like, what makes her a good writer?
And she was writing obituaries. Yeah. There's nothing you can really read off of that. Yeah. So, like, the fact that he was going out of his way to read these is really sweet. Yeah. And then because one of the biggest moments in this book is when Iris loses her mom. And it's so sad because right before she loses her mom is drunk, but speaking to her in a way like, everything's going to change, sweetie. I'm going to be better. for you. You're going to be an amazing writer. You're making Forrest so proud. And then her mom doesn't come home one night. And it's around 10 when she's like, I should go looking for my mom. But she doesn't. And it turns out that around 10:30, her mom got hit by a train. And when she was writing her obituaries, a thing popped up with like unidentified body here. This is what they were wearing. This is what they look like. And she just gets up from work and leaves. And she leaves without Forrest's trench coat, identifies the body as her mom, and goes home and just like is like in a daze. And it really gets me because I think writing grief is so hard. And this book, it's such a like it's so like beautifully written. And the fact that this is all happening, she's going through the stages of grief in her own way. And Kit is one of the only ones that is like,
he notices.
This is very unlike her. Yeah. So he gets her trench coat and takes it to her house the next day. And it's like 9 or something. Like she didn't go to work. And he's like knocking and he's like, are you home? Are you in there? And he opens the door because it's unlocked. And he's like, we are all worried about you. Like, are you okay? What's going on? And she's just like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. And
she doesn't want to tell anyone what happened.
So then
then also she's aware that people don't really read the obituaries.
Dude, but when he leaves, I thought it was very sweet when he was like, can you please lock the door? Like, don't leave it unlocked. Yeah. And she's like, fine. And so he leaves and she's looking through the people and he's waiting. And until she locks it, that's when he leaves.
I'm literally gonna cry. Okay.
Get you a rival that fucking checks up on you, man.
Anyway.
Go ahead, bitch.
I fucking love Roman. Oh my god.
He's so good.
I also love that all of those moments when they were trading letters, I was so invested. I was like, damn. Because he was getting to know her more through these letters because she made it obvious who she was. Because she was like, I work for... Or she thought she was sending this to Forrest. So she was telling him, like, oh, my job at the Oath Gazette is going like this. I want this. You know, that sort of thing. And so he figured out that she was the one who was writing these letters. And so through these letters, he's getting to know her more. And slowly starts falling in love with her because she's a really good fucking writer. And he's like, damn. She deserves this. She deserves the columnist position.
So, and it really sucks because when she comes back, Zeb, their boss, is like, hey,
I would have given you this position.
I was gonna call her Zeke. Roman, Iris, please come to my office. I need to speak to both of you. You're both brilliant writers, but honestly, Iris, you've been lacking. You've been late. You didn't even come into work yesterday. So I'm going to give it to Roman.
Yeah, and it's so sad because Roman read the obituaries. And I don't remember exactly at what point, but he, like, tries to vouch for her. Where he's like...
At that point, he's like, can't you just give us both more time? Like, can't you give us more of a chance to show ourselves? And he's like, why would I do that? I made my choice. It's like, because her mom died. And she's just kind of like, hello? But she doesn't say anything. Yeah. And then Zeb is like, is that true? And it's like, yeah, I wrote it in the obituaries. It's like, yeah, it was on there. We need to give her space. But Zeb is still like, you know what? I already made my choice. Yeah. I can give you bereavement, you know,
like the leave.
But that's as much as I could give you. And at this point, Iris is already done with the job. So she's like, no, I'm good.
She's so she's so hollow. And I feel like Rebecca Ross does a really good job at showing that. Like that she's so just lost in this moment of the loss of her mother. And so she's just like more fixated on, okay, obviously I didn't get the position. So now I'm going to dedicate my time to trying to find Forrest.
And it hurt me so much because at this point, Roman and Iris, their feelings aren't out there, you know, but Roman really cares. So he stood by the exit and is like, you can't leave like this.
Yeah, he's trying to stop her. And it's really sad because he's also engaged.
Oh, yeah, dude.
He's engaged to be married.
Let's stop for a bit.
Roman's engaged.
To
be married, that bitch.
That bitch.
So basically his dad is very controlling and he's like, look, I'm sorry, but you have to marry this one girl because it just makes sense for the family, right?
Yeah.
So Roman comes from money, and so his dad is making this arranged marriage for him, but he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to go through with it. But everyone knows about it because it's in the newspaper, and Iris is like, congrats, I guess.
It sucks too. And it's funny because the first time Iris hears about it, their coworker, Sarah Prindle, I think is her name, is like, I'm sorry, Iris. And Iris was like, why are you apologizing to me? And it's like, well, everyone in the office made a bet that you guys would end up together. Because, I mean, look at you guys.
Aww.
And Iris starts rambling like, well, he doesn't even look at me any certain way. And it gets cut off, but Prindle's like, dude, you should have seen the way he was looking at you when. And then it cuts off. So, like, everyone kind of feels it, too. You know, it's just them two that are kind of, well, more her, oblivious to the situation. But I did want to bring up that by this point of the story, Roman and Iris's relationship through the typewriter has already kind of developed. Because there are a lot of moments where they're writing to each other, and then because she knows it's no longer going to Forrest, she addresses this man and tells him very intimate things. And one thing they talk about is brought up by him, which is like, what do you do when everyone expects something out of you? Like, how do you continue to wear a mask? And do you feel like you always have to wear armor? And she was like, well, I wouldn't go around the world not wearing armor because then, you know, things are going to happen to you that you don't want to happen to you. But what I can say is the strongest people are also the most gentle ones. And it's okay to let down your armor every once in a while to some people that you trust. So she kind of basically said, like, I'm your first situation where you can do that. Like, the fact that we are having this conversation.
I love that moment because she also alludes to being afraid of holding herself back too much. Where it's like you're holding yourself back from happiness. And I just loved that correspondence that they had together. Dude, that quote was really good about the armor and just like being free of it.
Yeah. And it sucks too because, you know, Iris no longer works at the Gazette. She is lost her mom. The only person that she semi-cared about is engaged, and she doesn't know how to feel about it. So she's over here like, I'm going to find Forrest. I'm going to drop everything, and I'm going to go find him. So she joins this new, well, it's not new, but it's the competing
journalism
newspaper.
Yeah.
And they're called the Tribune.
Yeah.
I think. And the reason that they're doing so well and competing with the Gazette is because they are doing reporter correspondences that are like on field, like in field correspondence. So they are writing about the war while at the war, and their thing is like in a neutral position. So they're just taking it for what it is. And it's like a suicide mission because even the paper she signs when she gets hired is like, you are completely okay if you are dismembered, lose any limbs, lose any sight, hearing, whatever. Mental, physical, emotional state is like, we're not in charge of any of that.
She's literally in the trenches.
Yep. But she's good with it because she's like, what else do I have to lose? So she goes. And dude, I fucking loved how this story, because sometimes stories take me out when it feels like you're reading a different story. It kind of reminds me when we read Wife. Felt like two different stories. And this story did not do that to me because it just felt like, now we're over here. Now it's happening over here. But there was still the connection to the first part of the story because of the typewriters. And the fact that they were still able to write to each other from so far away. They had revealed their first names. Well, she did. And he revealed his middle name, which is Carver, which I think is so funny because throughout the entire story, she doesn't know what the C stands for. So she basically will put any word for the C depending on the situation. So, like, when she figured out that he was engaged and that the dad wanted to put, like, it in the newspaper, she was like, there he fucking goes. Roman coddled K. It's like, I just thought that was cute.
I love the Roman cheeky Carver.
Yeah.
She would just throw in, like, the craziest, like, C words, and I loved it. I thought that part was so fucking cute.
But he reveals himself as Carver. And it's cute because anytime they write to each other, she always ends it with love, Iris, and he ends it with yours, Carver.
Mm-hmm. That shit was so fucking cute. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I loved them.
Do you remember the first time they were doing like the typewriting correspondence, but then something really bad was happening in like the war area? So she was like, okay, gotta go, but she misspelled all the words.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And then in his perspective, it's like, oh my God, what is happening to her? And he couldn't sleep. He couldn't eat.
He didn't know exactly where she went, because even through the typewriter, as you know, this anonymous person, she would not tell him where she was. Mm-hmm. And so he'd lost sleep over it. Oh,
dude, they were so cute. Mm. I thought it was cute when she admitted that she wanted to meet him, and she was like, but I can't go because I don't have any wings. Mm. And he was like, you with no wings? Nah, can't imagine it. Mm-hmm. He's got me fucked up. Get surgery to get wings. Like, this boy got me so fucked up, dude. He's so into her. I can't.
It was so cute.
Mm-hmm. Did you
fucking love Roman?
Me too. And I love that moment. That like defining moment.
I know which one you're talking about.
When he saw her, I hope you do. When he saw her story as the headline on the Tribune, figured out where she was, and he was like, she wrote her own story. I'm a write mine, bitch. And then goes on as Carver, writes to Iris and is like, BRB, I gotta go do something. And me reading this as the reader, I'm like, nah, bitch, you are not gonna.
Yeah, he basically like abandoned his whole fucking life. Remember, he got the position that he wanted. Well, it was mostly his family that wanted him to get this position. He abandoned everything.
Yep.
And was like, I gotta go get my girl.
Dude, with no plan either. This bitch just went in freaking cold turkey.
Just with his typewriter in his little bag.
I know. Here I come, bitch.
Wifey, where are you?
Oh my God. I was like kind of cringing a little bit because where they're living, there's, it's a war against gods. So there's these creatures that attack, and there are certain sirens that sound when certain creatures are attacking. So they have a whole protocol. Like when you hear this siren, in 2 minutes, you got to be in, close the windows, do all that. If you're outside, freaking play dead, don't move.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the siren sounds, and Iris and another columnist that went with her, whose name is Addie, they're both like, okay, let's close everything up. And she's looking out the window and sees someone running, and it's like, stupid bitch, who's running in this? And gets the binoculars or whatever, and it's like, no fucking way. Fucking here's Roman.
He's just skipping. Like, he's skipping through the flowers, just like, I'm
bringing them in. Love this. Going for my girl.
Oh my God.
And she's like, holy shit. So she sprints, and she's sprinting towards him, and it's funny because like he sees her, and it's like, Biba!
Biba! I missed you. I traveled for this video.
Babe, but
it was so cute because he like dropped his bag and he was running towards her like they were gonna have a moment, but she was like, "What the fuck is he doing?"
He was like, "This is it." He's sprinting in with the chopstick. He's like, "Oh my God, it's happening! It's happening!"
Our first kiss. Fuck
I didn't
yeah!
know these sirens meant romance moment.
He's like, I would have picked something different, but okay.
Chopstick, Carmex, fucking spritz of water on his face. Bitch, I'm ready. I got layers. Wait, don't kiss me yet. Like a lip mask. Give me 15 minutes, babe.
These lips are gonna be juicy for you, babe.
So he, when they're near each other, and he's dropped his stuff, his face is full of fear because he knows something's about to happen, but he doesn't know what. Mm-hmm. So then she jumps on him and is basically sitting on him, right? Mm-hmm. And is just holding him down. And she's like, fucking Kit, do not fucking move. And I think this is the first time she curses in front of him.
Yeah, because he's like, oh my God,
who
are you?
5 chapsticks out now. babe, all over his face.
He's like, I'm so in love with you right now.
No, but she's like, don't fucking move. And he hears the sounds and he's like, are those hounds? are those hounds? He knew, you know?
Uh-huh.
And so they just lay down, and she's closing her eyes at first, but it's like a very uncomfortable position because she's basically holding herself up on top of him. But when she opens her eyes, they're both just looking at each other. But I think it's funny.
God, we're both just crying over here.
It's funny. It's been a while since we've read a book that we both have like similar stances on. So the fact that half of this episode is gonna be us crying, talking about shit they don't even understand. Don't dive it.
You don't understand. We don't always align.
I know. I'm so glad we do right now because dude.
You thought we wouldn't?
No, I didn't think we would.
Oh.
I
was nervous that you would hate this book.
What made you think that? At this point,
Sometimes,
why would I have hated it?
Sometimes
your taste just doesn't make sense.
Sometimes your taste is just weird.
Excuse you.
Respectfully.
Hold on. Say something controversial before we take this shot.
Why would I do that?
Say something controversial.
Who's better, Roman or Iris? 3, 2, 1. Iris.
Roman.
Oh, okay.
Awkward. Sorry, I have to pray.
Why am I already choking? Okay.
I just think Roman's the perfect man. Is that so hard to think? Is it wrong? Is it wrong that I'm just so attracted to this man? Dude, he, like, everything about him, too. Don't die on me.
Oh, my God.
Roman, don't die on me.
Okay. My hand's wet.
It's okay. It's like, is this tequila? The fact that Roman came all this way.
I love that he just left his whole life behind and he was like, no.
And it's funny because as soon as the hounds are gone,